I don't know what happened to the video, but praise the Lord. Give me a hug, man. Let me just say a quick prayer. Lord, I thank you for another day above ground and out of prison. Lord, I thank you for the opposition I'm feeling right now. And I know you will position it in a way to break through it. Lord, I thank you for the addicts and alcoholics in the flesh that decided to come out to this meeting tonight, to take one step further away from their addiction. Lord, I ask that you think through my mind and speak through my vocal cords, that you may do tonight that has not been done as we talk about knowledge, knowing you in a way that will change our lives. In your name we pray, amen. I don't know why I'm feeling this strong opposition. It must be something that's going on here, but I'm just going to push through it and break through it, and you might not even know what I'm talking about. But, just a cockiness of some sort, and we can't have that. We can't have, again, I've been around enough places in my addiction, in my life, and in my business life to see somebody with pride or cockiness, and that's really just fear. So if you ever encounter somebody that's cocky, they're just afraid. And you need to love them, because they're really dealing with a love deficiency in a way. And it really comes down to lack of knowledge. And last week we talked about wisdom. And in Romans 12:3, it says, it's up to you to increase your measure of faith. And it says, for I say to you, through the grace given to me. Now, I said last week, don't waste the grace. Now, I was a guy that wasted the grace. I'd go into a public-funded, I was one of those guys that took advantage of the system. The taxpayers paid for me to be in jail. The taxpayers paid for me to be in treatment. And then I'd get out of treatment and get a job and complain that they were taxing me too much. Now that's a small mentality. That's a small level thinking. You will always know a person's level of wisdom or truth or knowledge on how extensive their vocabulary is and how wide their window is. So it says, for I say, so I will, let's put you and I in that position. You put you in that position, I'll put me in that position. For I say, through the grace that was given me. See, I know that God graced me. I've been through 11 treatments. I should be dead. I've overdosed on many occasions. I should be incarcerated. I sold drugs. I drove drunk. See, I know that God gave me grace. So no matter what my consequences were when I first got sober for the umpteenth time, I had to come to the realization that I still got grace. None of us got what was coming to us. You may be facing enormous consequences right now, but you didn't get pulled over every time you drove drunk. You didn't get busted every time you sold dope. You don't even know who you sold the dope to, if they died or not. You don't know who you drank with if they killed somebody. You don't know that. You don't even know, to a certain extent, men, who you got pregnant. I'm going to get really raw tonight because I believe that we can hear rawness. Can you hear rawness? Yes. See, I know I got grace. I have nothing to complain about. 12 years ago, I had nothing to complain about. So it says, to everyone among you. All of us have to realize we're EGR people. Say EGR. EGR. Extra grace required. I still need extra grace in my life. It says, to everyone among you. Everybody among us tonight has received grace from God himself, no matter if you believe in God or not. It says not to think of yourself more highly than you ought to think. Don't ever forget where you came from. So many of us, including myself at times, forget where I came from, how bad it was, how poor the decisions that I made in the different things. And it says, but think soberly. The word soberly just does not mean don't get intoxicated. If you look it up in the Webster's dictionary, which is all foreign to me, I'm actually looking up words in the dictionary now. That's progress. If I don't know what a word means, I go and look it up. I don't pretend like I know what I'm talking about. But that's what I did the majority of my life. See, I'd have to try to impress you to make me feel better. Where did that get me? Back in treatment. Back in jail. I want to acknowledge a real champion here, and there's plenty of you here. Riggs, stand up. Now, this man came through our program. Give him a hand. How long has it been since you've been in the program?
About a year and a half.
A year and a half. Give me a hug. His wife sat with him in my office in tears, in fear of him moving back home. And I see another champion right there. And I see another one right there that left here and stayed connected here. And I'm telling you what, man, how many daughters you got?
3.
He's been coming faithfully to... Where do you live? Not a close drive. See, will you do what you said you were going to do? Will you think, or will I... And when I'm saying you, don't get offended. I'm also talking about me. I'm probably the sickest person in this room. But the key is, will you think soberly? And that doesn't mean I just don't drink. That means the definition of sober in the Webster's dictionary is serious and sensible. You have to take this serious. You have to be sensible that this does not work unless you work it. That's being sensible. That's doing what God has called you to do. Being serious and sensible in a way that you can really... You with these clowns?
Yep.
You're in good company. Being serious and sensible in a way that you say, hey man, my way doesn't work. My way got me here. I got to stop doing what it is that I was doing in order that I can do what I intend to do. See, on my high school yearbook, it didn't say I wanted to go to treatment 11 times. It didn't say that I want to geek out in a crack house. It didn't say that I wanted to get divorced. It didn't say that they would have to take DNA samples out of my head in order for me to see my kids. And even after they took the hair follicles out of my head, they still had to have supervised visits with me. That was the truth about me. So I had to think soberly. I had to think sensibly. I had to take this serious. I had to know that God graced me with another opportunity to get this right. And my right isn't right, but He is never wrong. See, I had to realize that God sees something valuable about me and you, that He would save me, and even more importantly, or just as important, the devil knows you're valuable. That's why he's trying to kill you. Because he knows that you're a good person. He knows if you get in your right mind, you actually will help people. He knows that you have good qualities. That's why he's trying to take you down. So we need to think soberly. We have to be sensible. We have to know that this is life or death. Now it says, as God has dealt to each one of you a measure of faith. Everybody's got the same opportunity. When I got here, I was over $100,000 in debt. I had the federal authorities wanting to meet with me on drug charges. I couldn't see my kids. Everything I owned was in a plastic hefty bag. I got served divorce papers, so I had all the excuses in the world why I can't get back on my feet again. But God. So no matter what your financial situation, no matter what your legal problems, no matter what anything is that you're facing, that God has dealt each and every one of us the same measure of faith. You're in the same program. You're hearing the same message tonight. You are working the same steps as everybody else. The question is, will you take heed to what is being taught? Will you work what they're asking you to work? Will you get honest when you don't want to be honest? See, it's here for the taking. The question really comes down to, do you want it? And you can say to yourself that I just don't want to get high. Just not wanting to get high, gamble, or drink isn't good enough. You didn't want to do it, and I didn't want to do it, yet we still did it. This stuff is cunning, it's baffling, and it's powerful. It is bigger than you. That's why you got to serve God, which is bigger than you. I love the Proverbs, we're going to go through that here in the next couple months. Proverbs 19:2. We can't be in a hurry to rebuild our lives. See, so many people are in a hurry to rebuild their lives. I'm in a hurry to get my finances in order. I'm in a hurry to be super dad again. I'm in a hurry to get out of these legal problems. I'm in a hurry to get back to my own place. Don't be in a hurry. And check this out. It says it right here. It says, enthusiasm without knowledge. See, we're all strong starters. And we come out of the gates flaring. That's what I loved about Shannon. She's been a steady pace the whole time. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And if you can't enjoy the journey, you won't appreciate the destination. I don't know what your destination is, but if it's getting back together with your family, if you're trying to sprint back there, once you get there, wherever you go, there you are, and you're still going to be the same person than when you left there. It isn't an outside job, it's an inside job. So it says, the Bible says, enthusiasm without knowledge is no good. So many of us get so excited, they tell us that the newcomer is the most important person in the meeting, and that's true. But slowly but surely, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, like the promises said, it always goes to, where we decline. We are not grateful. We are not zestful. We are not appreciative. We are not even taking this sensibly and seriously anymore. Because we were enthusiastic, we'll give God everything when we have nothing. But as soon as we get something, we're not going to give anybody nothing. Because we came to take, we didn't come to give. I'm going to come and I'm going to take, and I have nothing to give back. And you will take, and you will take, and you take until you have nothing. Somebody said to me, in all honesty, last week, and he's going to know who it is, and I love this guy, and he's made great progress, but he challenged his own mindset. He said, you know, when I first got here, he said, all I thought you cared about was my rent. And I thought to myself, you think that $500 is that important to me? But he was honest with himself. And he told on himself. And he says, that was my limited perspective. That type of perspective will look at the government and say, blame the government for it. That's what the big book says. Sit in the Florida sunshine and complain about the state of the nation and not do anything, right? Who knows the big book? 60 to 63? Is that what it says? See, you've got to get away from that mindset. You've got to get away from the victim mentality. You will not have victory unless you stop being a victim. You did not get what was coming to you. You did not get a fair shake in all your situations. But in the same breath, you didn't deal out a fair shake to many people either. Yeah. Addicts and alcoholics want forgiveness, but they won't extend it. See, we got to understand, enthusiasm, yeah, you're happy to be here. Yeah, this is a great program, but what are you going to do about it? Without knowledge, it is no good. Now it goes on to say, haste makes mistake. I didn't know what haste meant. I thought I knew what it meant. I thought it meant laziness. So I went to the dictionary today and I looked it up. What it says, it's quickness and eagerness. See, haste makes mistakes. I want to get this back. I need that money. I need my family back. I need to get out of this problem. I need to get this. I need to do that. Do you understand what is the first word of everything I said? When it's about you, you're going down. When the devil went down, I. See, when you exalt yourself, when you make it, again, don't get tripping. When I say you, I'm talking about me too, probably more about me. But haste makes mistakes. Haste is in a hurry. Haste is like, okay, as long as I get this, I'll be okay. I'll be happy when or if this happens. But I'm not going to be happy until it happens. And then it happens and you're still not happy. And another thing that happens is we live that when or if, if I get out of here, or when I get out of here, or, I'm going to do, I is not anywhere in the 12 steps. It's all we. And we need we. So we know that enthusiasm, we're all strong starters and shortcuts are nothing but setbacks. It says now in Jeremiah 3:15, we need someone to teach us knowledge. We have to come to the realization that our best thinking got us here. And you know my story, what I said to him. I got my own business. I know what and the guy says, the only thing you got is a crack habit. And that, I wanted to punch him in the mouth. But it was true. Because the crack addiction was my main priority. Over my children, over my business, over my health, over my character, over my morals, over my integrity. It robbed me of all those things. So the Bible says that God himself will give you shepherds after his own heart. So by God sending you to a program like this is a gift. And if you don't treat it like a gift, it won't be a gift. This isn't your normal meeting. This isn't, for those of you who are the first time here, I'm sorry. It's maybe not what you expected. But I'm still going to be me. And the key is that God will give you shepherds after his own heart. That God will send you to places where his heart is. And he says, those people, those shepherds, will guide you in knowledge and understanding. You know, those people, so I had to realize, who is God sending me to? Who do I need to be listening to other than myself? Other than the crowd that I was with before I got here. Sometimes even other than my parents. No disrespect. But our parents don't know what to do with us. That's why they drop us off here. It doesn't mean they don't love us. But if, my mom's here. Raise your hand, Mom. Now, it wasn't until she shut me down until I learned. But as long as she put that mattress underneath my bottom, I never learned. As long as she hired my lawyers and did this and everything else, I never learned. So the key is that we understand. Now it says, what these people who God has given you and given me, in 2 Chronicles says, God gives them insight on how to lead you. God sends you somewhere, and he gives the people where he sent you. I don't disagree with that you pick your sponsors, but really God should pick your sponsors. Because are we really good at picking people? I mean, I wasn't, but I know that God picked my pastor. And it says that these people asked God to give them wisdom and knowledge to lead them properly. Now it says, for who could possibly govern this great people of yours, of God's? You're God's people. But now I want to ask you, would you want to govern 93 beds of people that have enthusiasm without knowledge? It takes, wherever you choose to go, make sure that God is there, number one. And secondly, make sure whoever's leading there has God's heart. Because they don't, they'll be constantly frustrated and irritated, and they will have nothing to offer you. So the key is that the people that are called to lead stuff like this, and I'm not saying that because I'm one of them. I can't even believe I'm one of them. I don't even look at myself. If I step out of my life, and here's me walking around clueless every day. You know what I'm doing still after 12 years? I'm doing the next right thing for the right reason. But you want to know about the right results? Because they don't come quick. It's taken 12 years. And I'm still paying consequences. But if there's my everyday life on that, and I step out and see 93 beds, 12 homes, a church, a couple businesses, I'll destroy it in a heartbeat. But as long as I stay down on the humble level and do the next right thing for the right reason, all I have to do is concern myself with God's going to produce a right result. See, for 12 years we've been doing this. I've never done anything good for 12, and we haven't done it perfectly. We have made terrible mistakes along the way. But God always, what does he say? Even if you make a mistake, he's not looking at your mistake, he's looking at the motive behind the mistake. And if your motives are always to help people, God will honor that with increase and favor. So now it says, these are the people that you want to get around, okay? It says in 1 Corinthians 12:8, God gives these people insight to tell you about you. It says, to one person, the Spirit gives the ability to give wise advice. There's a difference between advice and wise advice. We tend to go get advice. We are afraid of wise advice. Because the word wise before advice means it's going to challenge us. It might correct us. It might direct us. It may go against our thought process. And God gives certain people the ability to give wise advice. To another, the same spirit of special knowledge. You hear me say this often. if you're the smartest person in the room because you're intimidated by people's knowledge, you're in the wrong room. What have I personally done in the last 12 months when Bishop T.D. Jakes told me that God is about ready to put you in rooms where you will not know what to wear, you will not know what to say, you will not know how to eat, and that's exactly what happened. So I have spent my time as of late with Mark Crea, CEO of Feed My Starving Children. You saw who was here. You know, I want to learn from people. Andy Carr going to Haiti. I want to learn from people that are ahead of me. And I'm not intimidated by people that are ahead of me. They're ahead of me because they're obedient and they've got somebody ahead of them. If somebody's ahead of you in life, doesn't mean you're a failure. It just is a target for you to go for. Because God says that He doesn't play favorites. God says that He doesn't play favorites. So to people, you know, I mean, I went to the Pastor's Masters. I don't have time to play golf anymore. I think Bill's still got my golf clubs. Do you? Let's give Bill a hand. But I wasn't there to golf because I'm terrible at golf. But I used to be the guy that golfed and threw his golf club against a tree because I hit a bad shot. Why golf? Why do something that's going to frustrate you to that level? And then I'll tell you that. Here's another thing. Why cheat in golf? What'd you get? A 4? When you got an 8? Who are you trying to make look better? Like you know you got an 8. Like you're going to feel better by saying a 4. But the key is this, that I went on that golf tournament. First, it was a humbling privilege. I had a musician, a very well-known musician in my office about an hour ago. And I told him straight up, I used to see him when I was younger, in my 20s. I said, it's humbling that you are actually in my office. Do you know when you're in the presence of greatness? Do you know that greatness is contagious? And if you want greatness in your own life, get around greatness. Get around courage. Get around discipline. Get around sacrifice. You can do it. You can do it. So have that glean up moment. My cousin said to me, he was an atheist. He judged me for many years. He said, you think you're all that and blah, blah. I said, I ain't nobody, man. I said, but I'm just doing the next right thing. At my cabin 2 years ago, though, when we first started this church, he accepted Jesus into his heart. Last year, he got his 1-year medallion from a hardcore opiate addict. And he says, cuz? I said, yeah. He says, you're my red shirt guy. I said, what do you mean? He goes, we're all in this race. But in the race, you get tired and you just got to focus on that guy ahead of you with the red shirt. So who's your red shirt guy? You? If you're your own red shirt guy, you might be running in the wrong... I don't even know why I'm wearing a red shirt. That wasn't... I never wear red. And the thing is that God will give you those pop-ups. See, God will replace the negative pop-ups with positive pop-ups. I was tired of having that negative dope pop-up. I still get them. You got to see these pictures of me with these addicts in the streets of New York, man. It was awesome. But I was around that night. I went home and slept. I had the worst crack and heroin dreams I've ever had because I was around those spirits. Be careful what you're around. Be careful what you're around, and you might have to be around it, but then be prayed up with that. So it says now that the benefits of a pastor, mentor, or sponsor. Proverbs 1:7, they know the seriousness of addiction. That's why they're willing to help you, because they know that they can't keep what they have unless they give it away. They know without helping you, their motives are pure, because God has given them to you after His own heart. It says, fear of the Lord. See, I don't know, we've been loyal to the wrong things. We've been loyal to the road dogs on the street, ride or die. You didn't ride or die with them. As soon as you got popped, they rolled on you. They should have said, rolled and quit. I mean, especially, I remember I'm not going to get into it. I'm not big on the drunkalogs. But what it says, fear of the Lord. I respect the Lord. I respect the fact that God would send somebody to help me. And I'm going to respect that person, because that person is a gift. And whatever that person, and God, I've worked too hard to gain ground. I don't want to lose ground in regards to this. So the fear of the Lord is the foundation of true knowledge. I'm afraid to screw this up. I am, because I've screwed it up so many times. The fear of the Lord is, so many people mistake that thinking God's mad at you. God is not mad at you. He's not disappointed in you, even though you failed as many times as I did. The fear of the Lord is respecting Him for who He is and what He can do for you and what He has done for you. If you don't think that God has done anything for you, everybody lift up their right hands. Put your finger on your pulse. God has done a lot for you. Let's give God a hand. It says, fools despise wisdom and knowledge. See, fools don't even want to hear what knowledge is. Fools think that they got all the right answers. I looked up the word despise. I was on a roll with the dictionary today. The definition of the word despise is to look down. So some of you right now, as I am teaching, are looking down on me. That's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm just telling you what the word says. The reason why you're looking down on this is because you're scared. You've lost hope, and you're full of pride. And you really despise yourself. But I can take the hit for you. You can look down on me. I'm used to that. I've been doing this for 12 years. But I want to tell you that you are truly just despising yourself because you will not give this a chance. You will not give this a chance. And now it says in Proverbs 8:10, they put God in their recovery first. People that are sponsoring and mentoring choose my instruction rather than silver. So you have to choose to be instructed. Attraction rather than promotion. It's a choice to receive this information. The knowledge rather than pure gold. So the first thing is you have to choose instruction, and then you have to really choose and understand that knowledge is better than pure gold. See, we have to receive that knowledge. Now it says in Proverbs 24:5, they're continuing to grow stronger. Check this out. The wise are mightier than the strong. Now if Mike Kalmus was here, Matt Moore, come up here. Oh, Mike's here. Mike, oh, he is here. Now Mike is big. What did you bench the other day you said? 390. I couldn't even bench 39. Well, maybe I'm a little better than that. But check this out. The wise are mightier than the strong. He's physically strong. Now, I'm not saying he's not wise. I'm not that stupid. But who's really stronger? The guy who knows this or the guy who's got this? Because the guy who's got this can bring a guy like this to his knees. So where are you focusing on getting strong? Strength and power is knowledge. See, it says the wise are mightier than the strong, and those knowledge grow stronger and stronger. See, that's why I need you to pray for me, because sometimes I get in the flesh when people talk smack, and I know that I could do more damage with my mouth than I could with my fists. Pray for me that never happens. Because what may come out of my mouth could cut the person right at the knees. And it's probably going to be the truth. But the tone it'll come in will not be appropriate. However ridiculous anything is said to you, always look for a bit of truth in it. If somebody tells you got a tail between your legs more than one time, look behind you. See, knowledge is power. Knowledge is strength. I mean, Mike's a big guy, but he goes to me for counsel. And I go to Bishop Earl for counsel. And Bishop Earl goes to somebody else for counsel. I don't know where that chain goes from there. I don't need to know. Just like I don't need to know when I write checks to nonprofit organizations. Do you think I spend my time wondering where they're spending that money? When you paid the dope man for a bag of dope, did you say, are you going to go spend that on clothes or gas or a new car? When you went to the casino, were you concerned where they were going to spend the money? Stand Up Franks. Oh, I want to meet the owner. Where's all this money going to? Think about what you concern yourself with that you have no business concerning yourself with. I mean, I'm going to teach a message on freedom on Sunday. If you make it, I'm telling you what, if you learn how to spend your time on the right things, you won't be captive to the wrong things. And just because you're free doesn't mean it's a free-for-all. And it's so important. I never know what people are thinking, but I get looks from some of you as I'm teaching, and I'm just praying for you because I'm going to keep doing this. Because it seems to be working for me. And now it says in Job 30, this is a perfect lead in, Job 36:4. They are not afraid to tell you the truth. See, I'm not the type of pastor that preaches on Sunday that I'm afraid I'm going to offend somebody, they might not come back. This is raw stuff. We're very, very, very high-called people. High-called people with a big plan for their lives need to hear the truth. It says, I'm telling you nothing but the truth. And the truth hurts. And you know that you have to adjust yourself to it because the truth is not going to adjust itself to you. It says, I'm a man of great knowledge. See, get around people that have great knowledge. See, not to my choice, I am now teaching the Bible study on Wednesdays. If you want to know the Bible study at a deeper level, come here tomorrow night at 6:30. It is incredible. But I'm not that educated. I don't know that much theology. That's why I go to my son. He knows the meaning behind the Bible. I got so eager, and I got people like April in there talking with us and talking it out, Leanne and different people. It's awesome. See, but if I limit it to this, if I limit it to what's between these two ears, we're in trouble. And it's so important that we understand that when Jackson fed me that information last week, it took me to a different level with God. I didn't know what a parable really meant. I didn't know that was the first parable that Jesus taught. I'm like, wow, I'm like a little kid learning. I'm excited. See, I didn't know how to read books. I knew how to smoke crack. So I had to learn how to read. But I learned how to do something right because I had to learn how to shoot dope too. I had to learn how to mix drinks. I had to learn how to cut dope. So I had to learn how to do this too. And this has a lot more rewards than that. This doesn't end up in jail. You don't ever underestimate yourself. You are smart. You are intelligent. You are disciplined. But you've been disciplined for the wrong things. How much discipline did it take to get one more bag of dope? A lot. How much I don't know about you, but when I relapsed, I might have went to the guy on the corner initially. But I had enough intelligence to go up the ladder. Now use that same level of intelligence here. Use that same level, and you hear me say it all the time. The devil trained me so God could use me. I learned discipline on the street. I learned desperation on the street. I learned, it took a lot of intelligence it's easy to get high. It takes a lot of intelligence to stay high. You have it. Think about the level of intelligence it took to keep lying. That's extreme creativity. I mean, seriously. But be creative with integrity. Be intelligent with integrity. Be disciplined with integrity. I loved it 2 weeks ago. It was a mighty rainstorm, and we had like 220 people in here. Those are real addicts that went out on a real hailstorm to get real dope. Now they come to a real meeting to get to know a real God. The same thing. Now it says in Proverbs 18:15, they are always waiting to learn more. People with knowledge want to learn more. It says intelligent people are always ready to learn. Now check this out. Now, I don't really look at a level of intelligence, but I know everybody under the sound of my voice is intelligent to know that who's been with me in this movement for more than 5 years, come to this stage. Now, I believe that each and every one of you are intelligent enough to see this. Successful business guy. Successful father, grandfather, man of integrity, wrote 2 devotionals now in Barnes & Noble. Successful businessman, successful father and wife, oversees this entire program, very blessed in his business life, great relationships with his kids and his father. Incredible woman of God, leads Haiti trips, works with me at my company. This happens to be my daughter. Incredible, strong woman of God. Grew up better than I could have ever prayed for. Not because I'm good, because God is good. Man of integrity that took a bus here from prison in Phoenix. Done the deal. Encourages me. Has been a pillar over in Fridley. Married to me. Pray for her. Preached her second sermon on Sunday in front of hundreds of people. Met him 6 years ago. Every word out of his mouth was F this, F that. Reignited, oversees all of our properties, works for free, blessed financially, reunited with his son, never thought it would happen. Recently celebrated how many years? 15. Started our women's program. The women's program exists because of her. Phenomenal relationships with all of her kids. Can do whatever she wants, whenever she wants, however she wants to do it. Give her a hand. Came to us from detox down in Iowa. Reestablished with her family. Travels like you wouldn't believe. Works with her sponsors. Sponsors women. Grateful. Comes to this church. Incredible woman. Works at a treatment center. Has mentored men to be our mentees and managers. Got married. I married him on a yacht on Lake Minnetonka. Married to a beautiful, blonde, unbelievable woman. A father, incredible, financially secure. Bringing people to this meeting. I mean, her daughter's, boy, stand up. Where are you? This guy's a champ. Absorbing this. Bringing people into numbers, done extremely well for herself. This guy lived with us for years, doing incredible. One of my greatest encouragers, just a man of integrity. This guy just started his own business. I married him. Doing the deal. This woman mentoring people. Just incredible woman of God. Travels, great relationships with people and everybody she encounters. This man has his own business. Just celebrated 10. Has an incredible family. Just saw his parents here with tears. It takes a certain level of intelligence to see if you stay connected, you can have this too. Let's give God the glory. See, not many will do it, but the ones who do are blessed beyond the curse. It takes intelligence to see that. You should have seen them when they walked in these doors. They look just like you. So it says, Proverbs 29:27, they know when you are drifting away. And people that God sends to you know when you're drifting away. If you stop listening to instruction, my child, you will turn your back on knowledge. The question I have for you is, once you turn your back on this deal, where are you facing? You're facing the bar, the dope house, and the casino, and the strip clubs, and sex world, and you don't even know it. Now, I'll talk about pornography for a second. Pornography is a joke. Pornography, when you look at pornography, you're feeding somebody's daughter that's trapped in a world of sex addiction to stay in their addiction. You may be sowing into your future daughter being in that industry. You also may be sowing into men looking at your daughter that way, even though they're not in the industry. That's how important pornography is. Men, get a hold on it. Women, get a hold on it. You're feeding your addiction. What is so miserable in your life that you have to escape with pornography? You're make-believing that you're with somebody that's on a screen. You're in a make-believe life. It's quiet in here. But that is a gateway back to your addiction. And it is an addiction all by itself. So once you stop listening, you turn your back. 2 Peter 1:2, they are willing to give you grace. Check this out. People don't believe God when it comes to this. It says, may God give you more and more grace and peace as you grow. So in order to get grace and peace in abundance, I have more grace and more peace than I've ever had in my life because I've gotten around people that have more knowledge than me. And there will always be people that have more knowledge. And it says in 1 Peter 2:9, they are chosen to bring you out of the darkness. God brings these people in your life that he has chosen to bring you out of that life. But it says, but you are not like that, for you are chosen people. Do you know that you've been chosen? What do you have to complain about? It's taken me 12 years to have a trip to New York with 2 of my 3 kids. 12 years. Some of us won't even wait 12 months. 12 hours, 12 minutes, till they go do what you want to do. And I know that 12 years is nothing compared to where God has taken this community. Let me tell you, if you are attached to us in 5, and that stage might still be the same amount of people, but I assure you, they will all be blessed. Anybody look at Rig. I could call his wife tonight. She knew what he did this afternoon. She knew what he did this morning. She knew where he was yesterday. We all need accountability. Don't get offended when somebody wants to give you a UA. That's a compliment. That they would care enough about you to give a UA. Oh, I'm on probation for 20 years. I had a guy get sentenced to 47 years manufacturing meth 5 years ago, and I'm on the car ride, and the guy sentenced him to the judge did. Judge says, I'm putting him in your hands. I said, well, thanks a lot. And he complained to me. He's got probation. He was supposed to be 11 years in prison. Complaining to me that he had probation. I said, why would you care if you have probation if you're not doing anything wrong? Why would you care if you're on the color wheel if you're going to pass the UA? Isn't that just the level of accountability that God had orchestrated for you to actually stay humble? See, I mean, we've got to understand that's knowledge. That's knowledge. I got a refund check from some, it says RX. The only first thing I think about is opiates. And she put it on top of this package I just got in town, and I'm like, oh my God, does she think that I was ordering pills on the internet? But what, should I get mad at her because she would think that way? No, because that's what I used to do. But she didn't think that way. I thought that way. I'm messed up. See, my first job 12 years ago, I knew I was clean, and I still thought I was going to fail the UA. When something is missing in a room and somebody says, have you seen I think I did it, and I know I didn't. We got to retrain our thinking. We've got to understand that we might have did it, but we're not it. We cannot stop listening, that there's more and more grace and peace. 1 Peter says, but you are not like that. We are chosen. The reason why you're chosen, I mean, here it says you are a royal priest. What do you mean I'm a royal priest? I'm a crackhead. No. God says you're a royal priest. Yeah. And I didn't know what he meant 12 years ago. I didn't think I'd be a pastor of a church. I didn't know we'd have all these houses. I didn't know we'd have businesses. But God says I'm a royal priest. And let me tell you something. He says you're one too. But you can clap all you want because I haven't read the second part of the scripture. It says, as a result of you thinking you're a royal priest, you can show others the goodness of God. That's why we write $34,000 checks to feed my starving children. That's why we'll be flying 2 babies and a mother over here from Haiti in a week. That's why we buy kilns for Haitians. That's why we serve 6,000 meals to shelters, because we were drug addicts and now we're royal priests and we're going to show people the goodness of God. That's what I said to that. That's what I said to that drug addict in New York. I bought him and these kids were sleeping on the street. And I went up and the other guy came and he was homeless. He was a junkie like me. And he's all mad because I bought those kids. I said, hey, you come with me, man. We went. I don't know if any of you have been to New York. They got those stands where they cook all that food on the corner. He goes, what's that? What's that? And I said, that's a Philly cheesesteak. I said, you've never seen one of those? He goes, no, but it looks good. I said, I'm going to buy it for you right now. And I ain't no holy roller. I'm not some holy roller, but I am a pastor, and I'm here to tell you that God told me to do this for you, and I'm not trying to shove God down your throat. But somebody that needed to tell me 12 years ago that God still loved me in spite of all my failure. That kid looked at me, and he started crying. He goes, why do you do this for me? I said, because God told me to. And my kids who used to keep away from me, let me tell you something about how powerful God is. My kids, you should see you know why she does what she's doing? You know why she leads trips to Haiti? Because she saw me do it. What are your kids seeing you doing? They said, I got a 17, 18-year-old with me down there in New York. They said, Dad, why did you do that? And they sat back and watched me because I said, you know why I did that? So I don't have to be sleeping on the sidewalk. We serve meals in the shelters so we don't have to live in the shelter. We take meetings to detox so I don't have to check myself into detox. I go to treatment centers so I can not be in a treatment center. I go to the jails and prisons because I don't want to be locked up in them. You know how powerful it is to walk out of Oak Park Heights? It says, as a result, you can show others the goodness of God. But what happens if you don't do that, you royal priests? For he called you out of darkness into the wonderful light. See, if you don't do that, you will be heading back to darkness. Questions to consider, 2 Peter 1, 5, and 8. Are you adding to your faith or just getting by? It says, for this reason, what would be a reason for you to work a program? To make every effort to add to your faith. Not get more money, not get your family back, not beat the legal problems, not get I mean, some of us are even, we're so focused on the gym that we get big muscles, but we're dying inside. So we got to add, and if you possess these qualities in increasing measure, they will keep you from being ineffective and unproductive. It says in Proverbs 25:28, have you learned self-control? Well, yeah, you might be able to put the bottle down. Yeah, you put the pipe and the syringe and you haven't been in the casino. But what about controlling your anger? What about controlling your depression or your anxiety or your fears or your low self-worth? A person without self-control is like a city with broken down walls. If you can envision a city with all the access points of the city, the enemy can come in through your eyes, through your ears, through your nose, through your mind, through many different access points. And if you don't have self-control, you have no walls of protection. But don't mistake walls of protection. So many people have walls around them to keep everybody out. We don't want that either. It says in Romans 5:3, are you willing to suffer for the right reasons? See, we were willing to suffer for the wrong reasons. I suffered out there. My family suffered out there because they didn't see me. Are you willing to suffer for the right reasons? I had a guy say, well, I can't live with this many guys. I said, well, where were you living before? Well, before here I was at 1800. How many guys were in that room with you? Well, the rooms at 1800 that I stayed at had like 6 guys in them. You're not living in a bedroom with 6 guys. Quite frankly, the majority of the living rooms of these houses are nicer than her and I's living room. I had the head of the Assemblies of God tour the houses last week, and I commend those houses I went to. They were all neat and clean and polished. I'm proud of you guys. He said he'd never seen nothing like this before. I run into Rod, and Rod greets us with a smile because he's grateful to be above ground and out of prison. You can make good impressions on people. You can be kind to people. You can benefit people. You are a benefit. That's why God saved you. We have to get knowledge. And we have to suffer for the right reasons. Now I suffer, and I don't even know I'm suffering because God says once you learn to suffer, you'll develop perseverance, character, and hope. When you get a higher level of hope and character and perseverance, you'll be suffering and you won't even know it. It says in Romans 12:10, love each other with genuine affection. You know what I often say, and I'm going to close here shortly. It's getting long, but the thing is this. I pity the people that have to greet me and hate me. Don't live like that. Just don't come. But to have to, here, stand up. Hey, man, love you.
And the whole time in my mind, I can't stand this SOB. Who's the fool? To have to live a life where you're not genuine. And you have to pretend to like things and pretend to be grateful and pretend to be respectful. That's what the steps are all about. Getting rid of those character defects and shortcomings and amends. See, and it says, and take delight in honoring one another. See, there's a difference. God gave me this last week because I was looking at a guy that's very close to me. There's a difference between compliance and surrender. A lot of you are complying with the rules right now, but you haven't surrendered. You're just doing this, gritting your teeth. And if you haven't surrendered, you're the one that's going to suffer. I got a guy that's real close to me, and he's done everything right, but just under compliance. He has not surrendered. There's a big difference between, I hope somebody takes that one. Job 11:8. Do people really know what you're thinking? Who knows besides yourself what you're thinking about? Who you are? What do you really know? What do I really know? I know nothing. Proverbs 22:12. Does God have to ruin your plans? Now, really read this one. The Lord preserves those with knowledge. 12 years we're still here. 12 years. Don't give me a hand clap. Give him a hand clap. But the other side of that is, but he ruins the plans of the treacherous. If you go out and do your own thing, God will ruin your plans because he loves you. And God will do anything to ruin your plans to get you back to him. And it says in Hosea 4, your choices affect more than you. And those people are destroyed from lack of knowledge because they have rejected knowledge. That is the truth. That's when I didn't work the steps. That's when I wasn't honest. That's when I didn't work a program. That's when I didn't get a sponsor. I rejected knowledge, and I was destroyed. Also reject you as my priest. That's what I wanted to come back. God called each and every one of you priest. And that might freak you out. But how you disqualified yourself from that title is by rejecting knowledge. By rejecting knowledge, you are rejecting yourself. Because you ignored the law of your own, because you didn't listen, because I didn't listen to what they said, I will also ignore your children. I don't want that. And let me tell you something. This 23-year-old was hell on wheels. She's leading trips to Haiti. Let me tell you something. I have a responsibility other than just raising my kids. See, she's in God's hands now. And she is flourishing. But whatever you allow in your life, you are allowing in your children's life without even knowing it. God bless you.